Hello everyone, Dennis here with Exos and Champ Fitness Center. I'm going to jump right into a lower body series of movements. We'll do a little warm up and then jump right into it. Some unique movements today for you. So all you're going to need is a mat or some floor space and a wall. So here we go. So for the warm up, what we can do, we'll start off on our backs, easiest positions first. So first one, let me shift this around a little bit. Go. First one, on our backs. We're going to figure four with our legs. We're going to grab overhand at the ankle, underhand beneath the knee. And we're just cradling that leg in. We don't want to round the hips, pelvis up, and the back. So we're just here, and then we can straighten out that lower leg. Bottom leg, I should say, and then we'll let it come to 90, 90 at the hip, 90 at the knee. We're going to open up to the side, letting it drop. And then we'll come here. I like to think almost like I'm hugging the leg back into that socket in the hip, and then gently bringing it down here. And we don't want to go too crazy and off to the side so we feel in our lower back. We just want to have it here, and we'll feel a gentle stretch in that hip and that glute. From there, come back to our figure four position. This time we're going to reach our hands through the opening, grab the hamstring on that bottom leg, bringing everything back. If you feel too much stress or any discomfort on this knee, it could be because the ankle in this position can get closer to your face than the knee itself. So just shift that position a little bit, keep the knee further from the face. So the ankle further from the face and the knee, here, and from here, we can straighten the body as best we can, bring the ankle towards the sky, back down, switch sides now. So, figure four to begin with, cradling this knee, opposite side now, back is still flat, hips and glutes still in contact, straighten out that leg, 90. Let it drop to the side. After a few seconds there, bring it back into the capsule, in the socket, and then slowly let it come across. And then from here, figure four, reaching through and around, hamstring. And pull it all in. Back still in contact with the mat. And then we'll straighten out that lower leg. Heel towards the sky. And we'll come here, feet out somewhat wide, start around shoulder width. Everybody's hips are going to be different, so you can play around with it. And all we're going to do is let those knees fall in, collapse in. Just nice and gentle. You can kind of rock back and forth if you choose to. Just no pain or discomfort in the knees. And from here, we can sit up. We're going for a butterfly. So just bringing those heels in close, back stays nice and flat if we can, and then we can use those elbows. We can alternate, bring them down, and kind of pulse here. Just trying to keep those heels in tight. Here. After a few seconds here. We're going to go onto our side. You can be propped up on this elbow, or straight down on the side, and all we're going to do, heel to glute. So bring this heel to the glute. I'm going to hug it in. After that, we're going to leave a little bit of space here. We're going to squeeze that glute and bring that knee back behind the center line here. So knee is back here into the rectus femoris, hip flexors, and then if you need more of a stretch, bring that heel to glute without letting that knee come forward. Switch sides, same thing. On our side here, so just open up the front of his leg and the hip, heel to glute for the first one. Then we can leave a little bit of space here. So relax that grip so we're not pulling the heel in twice tight. And then squeeze that glute, bring that knee back behind that midpoint. And heel to glute if you need more of a stretch. Good. Alrighty. So, we can jump right into it. I'll slide this out of our way. So, the first few, we're actually going to start at the ankle. We're going to start working our way up. So this first movement is for the anterior tibialis. That muscle runs along the shin bone, the front of the leg. So it helps us bring our toes up, and also helps us if we're running, jumping, whenever, or walking, whenever we stop. So where you would get those shin splints feeling. So this will help. Doing it over time will help that range of motion, allowing you to point your toe a little bit more and strengthen up the front of that leg. So we need wall space. We're going to set our hips. You can see me, but we're going to set our hips. Legs are going to remain straight. I'll try and show you a little better. So legs are going to remain straight. The further out the legs are, the more challenging. If you're doing it barefoot, it'll be a little bit easier, but you might slide. So we're here, and then hips are going to stay and lower back stay in contact. And all we're going to do is drive up with the toes. Come back all the way, because that's going to help us with mobility. Legs stay straight. And for 25 here. And as we fatigue, kind of far out here to start, as we fatigue, what we're going to do, it starts being a real struggle to get up into that top position. We're going to walk ourselves back an inch or so. So we're back, we reset, and we start going again. Ourselves up, legs stay locked, coming up, controlling the descent and ascent. As it gets challenging, we come in and we keep going. We're at 15 right now, 16, 17, at your own pace, 18, and walk it in a little bit, 19. And of course, you don't have to hold your legs or anything. I'm just keeping these pants rolled up so you can see a little better. There's 20, and 1, 2, 3, walk in just a little bit. There's 24, hold the top, there's 25. And then I'm going to turn around. I'm going to try and straighten that leg out still. So hands are going to be on the wall. Now walking back far enough, you might not have to be this far forward. We're just trying to get to a point where that heel is not touching the ground all the way. I've got a little bit of elevate heel in these shoes, so I have to be a little more inclined. But we're just going to be here, and then we're stretching out that calf, and then legs stay locked, glutes are tight, quads tight, and we're coming up, driving through that big toe, squeeze, and come back. The stretch at the bottom just as important. The contraction at the top, hold, coming back down. So the calf muscle that we talk about is actually two. We got the gastrocnemius and the soleus. So right here, we're working with the gastrocnemius as we go through. Now another variation of this, we'll work the soleus a little more predominantly. So coming up, hold, coming back down. Feel that stretch, coming up again. Glutes stay tight, quads tight. Going for 25 again. You probably feel that burn. I'm going to set up my feet, so slide out my shoes a little bit. 5 more. Here we go. Hold. Back. We're going to switch right back around. Work in the front again. So we can start a little more modestly with our foot position. 1, there's 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, legs are staying locked, 9, 10. It looks deceptively easy. This will really help if you do this enough. There's 15. Things like shin splints, deaccelerating, and a little more. There's 20. Step in a little bit. 3, 4. There's 5. Now in this one, we work more the soleus, the muscle right here that runs underneath the gastroc. So for this one, we don't want any knee pain at all. So, but what we're gonna try and do is bend the knees somewhat. Really as much as you can without any pain, no clicking, popping, or discomfort. So, hands can be here. So we don't want the knee out or in with the toes. So just right underneath the hip should be good. Toes point straight ahead. Arms can be bent on this one. And all we're gonna do is, glutes are gonna be contracted, so glutes are contracted, and we just kind of think about keeping this, our core, right on top of the hips, so ribs right on top of the hips, so we're not here or here, where this is solid, glutes tight, and we're just coming forward. And all we're gonna do from here, so we're up on the, come up, push that big toe, and then come back down. You wanna be a little off the floor with the heel, and coming back up. So it's a bent leg, calf raise. Glutes stay tight, we're in a good position. Not any pain through that knee. If you do, back out of it a little bit. I'm just gonna go forward. No pain or discomfort, feel that stretch at the bottom. And 20. You see me a little shaking while I'm coming down. Try and control that range as we extend down. Don't just fall through it. 5. Good. Now, on to the next one. So we can use this mat again if we need it, but I'll just go without. So for this one, I'll show you from the side. What we're gonna do, it's gonna be a modified split squat, almost like a lunge. But if you need to have that foot elevated, you can roll up a mat. You can have a block, a step, anything like that, some bricks, what have you, if you did need to elevate it. So for this one, what we're gonna try and do, a lot of times we think about if this knee has any discomfort in it, keeping it stacked above the ankle, above the midfoot. Because studies have shown that bringing that knee forward increases the stress to the knee, which is true. However, it doesn't necessarily have to be negative stress or stress that's causing damage. So much like a bicep curl would put stress on the bicep, but it can be a positive stress. So we're trying to move through this with no discomfort, no pain. So what I'll show you is this movement here. So if you notice, my hips aren't open this way. I'll actually show you from this side first. So my hips aren't open this way. I'm squeezing this glute, my back leg. It's gonna square up my hips. I'm also not on a tightrope. I've got my feet splayed out to the side somewhat. And from here, all we're gonna do, and you can use something, a chair on this side, you can hold on to it for balance. That's fine, a wall, what have you. But we're here, and then we're just going to come forward as much as we feel comfortable with. We don't want this knee to touch if we can help it. So squeeze, you'll feel that stretch through the hip flexor as well. And then we're gonna drive up all the way. We want this chest nice and upright if we can, and come down again. If you come onto the ball of the foot a little bit, it's okay, especially if you have your weight shifted off with a chair or you're helping yourself. But it's okay this way too, as long as there's no pain anywhere. And then we're coming back. Coming through. And really pull yourself down with the same muscles you felt. Think about pulling yourself down with the same muscles you felt, the anterior tibialis through here. And then coming back up. So no pain. Down, hold, and then back. So we want 5 each side. I'll show you on this side too. So we're here, feet are splayed. I'm not open here. I squeeze this glute. Hips squared off. And then coming forward. You might notice a difference. So if you were doing a bilateral or both legs at the same time movement, you might feel some discomfort. You might have a little bit of a hip shift, some pain in the back, or one knee versus the other, one calf versus the other, because that load is being disproportionate or unbalanced. The force is being transmitted in an uneven fashion. So this way, we can work both sides as we go through. Once again, no pain or discomfort. You might feel some popping, but the idea is this actually helped reduce that popping in my knees. Alrighty, so we're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna try and get to 20 each side. So regress as you need it. If you need, have a wall here, or a chair preferably, to hold on to for balance, to take some of this weight off. That's fine too. If you can't come forward that far, you can really, give me a second, you can use something. Probably gonna have to be a little higher than this. Several weight plates, for example. It should be a little bigger just for your foot, just using what I have in front of me. But you'll notice with this, once again, hip squared. With this, I can come a little bit farther forward. So if you have knee pain, just be careful with how far you go. You can be here. You can be here. The idea is just progressively to get a little deeper in this position if we can. So show you here. Just going for 5 here. Pulling ourselves down. Holding that position. And coming back up. Same thing. Square the hips. Down and forward. So this elevated position allows the knee to hit a full range of motion without putting as much stress, or the range of motion demands, I should say, on the ankle as much. I, for one, definitely underestimated how much that ankle range of motion really helped. I've had a lot of reduced pain doing squats, sumo deadlifts, just running in general, once I start working on the ankle range of motion, ankle mobility. So we're going again, 2 more each side. Here we go, taking your time through that range of motion. If you come up on that ball of the foot, it's okay for these as long as there's no pain. And then driving back. You don't want that back leg to touch if you can help it. And shift right into the other one. Once again, keep your balance. We can load these up after you get used to them. As I said, balance. We can load these up here, off to the sides here with dumbbells, kettlebells. There's no pain throughout this. Last one each side. So hip flexor might start feeling it because you're stretching. It has to actively work throughout this. So you can take some time in between these, 30 seconds or so between sides. But for the brevity of the video and upload speeds, I'll just keep going for you. So here we go. Going for 5. Focus more on that range of motion, pain-free. Hands is wherever is comfortable for you. Try to stay as upright as possible. Once again, modify it how you need to. Put something under your foot, grab a chair, a wall. No pain on any of these. Coming up. Good. And then we're going to shift back over. So, this one, a lot of people that may or may not have, that think they have weak hamstrings, for example, that might bend down, hurt themselves if they're trying to pick something up, like in a deadlift, but it can just be heavy groceries, anything like that, that hinge mechanic. They'll think they'll have weak hamstrings. Maybe, but a lot of times it's inability to fire them appropriately due to a poor range of motion. So what we're going to try and do here is stretch out those hamstrings in sort of an easy and very modifiable, scalable way. So it's going to be a modified toe touch. I'll show you from the side here. So I have the core somewhat activated, so not too much pressure on the lower back. But we're going to start off nice and easy. We can even have a chair or something here. What we're going to try and do is squeeze the quads so that leg remains locked. It's kind of hard to see with these pants, but we're coming forward. You can be here at first, and then we're going to bend one leg. So One leg's bent, kind of up on that toe, and this leg's straight. And then I'm alternating. I'm actively squeezing that quad as I go. Notice my heel gets flat. And as I get used to it, come down a little bit further. This works the back of the calf underneath the knee as well as the hamstring. So wherever you're tight, it starts to work through it in a dynamic fashion. As we get more comfortable, as the reps keep going, get a little bit closer with the fingers. A little bit closer. If we need to, we feel like that range of motion is kind of decreasing a little bit, we go back and walk ourselves in. We're trying with 25 reps, and we'll come out of it. And here, to use that range of motion now, and we could do something with a stability ball or those little couch sliders, furniture sliders, but instead what we'll do, it would be like a TRX, but instead what we'll do, we'll go heels here, feet flat, and all we're going to do is back, is push through the floor. I'm going to squeeze these glutes, and we're going to come up from here. We can just hold this position if we choose to, or lift one side up, glutes stay tight, and then the other, and alternate. So this is really just giving us some activation and a little bit of active recovery before we drop back and start stretching out those hamstrings again. So you'll notice just from those few repetitions, the few movements I did, if you noticed before, when I was in this position, I was kind of struggling to get here into this straight leg position as I was stretching. You notice now, that's completely gone. That range of motion's restored. So that allows you to really fully express, athletic ability, strength, power, what have you. So we're going to do it again. And that's from the tibialis raises, the calf raises, the single leg split squats, and these, all in conjunction. Some might help you more than the others. So here, one leg's bent, one leg's straight, squeezing the quad, and then we alternate, squeezing the quads as we go. Going for 25. Bring those fingers closer. I'm not the most flexible person, but you'll notice it gets easier as you go. But scale it to where you're at. If you're here and you're holding on to something like a step, that's fine too. Good. And then for the last thing we'll do, let me just check the time here. Good. For the last thing we'll do, I'm going to burn out those legs, trying to hold for 1 minute of a wall sit. So we're going to go back flat up against the wall, and then as we're going, we're going to think about pushing down through the foot. So if you'll notice, so I can be here, but if I'm pushing up, I'm going to think about pushing up and stop myself. So I'm still pushing up. Just notice my legs are kind of shaking. It really feels to the quads and somewhat into the glutes. I'm pushing out and I'm pushing up. Imagining you've got a bar or a wall on your back and you're pressing up and you're stuck. That's what we're going to try and do, just add some tension throughout this movement. Really fire the legs a little more strongly. So, get a wall space, and we're going to try and come down to femur parallel with the ground. So, everyone's hips are different. This is comfortable for me. I'm going to come down to about femur parallel with the floor, and I'm going to squeeze the quad, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the quads. You notice my legs are shaking. I can relax a little bit in between. I'm pushing up. There's 10 seconds. 11, 12, really push. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, just keep hands off the legs. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Drive to his feet. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, there's 40. Take a break if you need it. 41, 42, 43, 44, there's 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, there's 50. 1, 2, 3, last 7, there's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, nice. Woo! Ugh. Thanks again for joining me. Also, feel free throughout the week, any of those new movements that you felt were pain-free and that might be helpful, particularly the dynamic hamstring stretch. So one leg is bent, and the others activate that, squeezing that quad to stretch the hamstrings might be very beneficial. And then trying to work perhaps on that split leg or single leg split squat might be very beneficial just to increase mobility. You'll feel your quad become stronger, your balance will improve, and that mobility, especially that anterior tibialis, that toe raise movement, can be really helpful, especially if you've had a history of shin splints in the past, or just to help with walking, running. It's getting warmer outside, jogging, things of that nature. So thanks for joining me. Hopefully you took something away from this. See you next time.